Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video tutorial. In this video I would like to log into my newly installed Windows Server 2016 and show you how to install Active Directory. Hopefully I'll activate my hypervisor and install a Windows 10 client. It's gonna be in a different parts, different parts. So one thing I'm gonna do is to create Active Directory by installing a server role for Active Directory, and to create some users as well, how to create users and give them permissions to access certain folders, and to make sure that your server can access the internet. By default it's been disabled, you can't get on the internet by default. You have to do something to do that, so I'm gonna have to rename the name of the server as well. Rename the server and create a domain as well. So that domain creation is done during the process of installing the Active Directory, users and computers. Okay, to log into my server I'm gonna press Ctrl Alt Delete like you always do to log into a server. Ctrl Alt Delete to my keyboard, on my keyboard rather. Then type in my password. So anytime you log into a server, especially after installation, a fresh copy, the server manager does pop up to the main screen. Or you can do it yourself and click on the start button. Then click on the server manager here. So server manager. It's always advisable to assign a static IP address to your server, because it can only be on a DHCP mode. Because if you assign it to a DHCP, which is not very advisable, because it's gonna be changing, you're gonna be requesting IP addresses anytime the lease expires. By default is 8 days. So as you can see, the server manager is blank. On the if I click on the tools, there is nothing there. I've not installed any roles yet, like Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, nothing. If you look at my local server by default, that's a name there. So I'm gonna do some admin a bit. So before installing the Active Directory, I wanna make sure that I change. You see the work group, there is no Active Directory installed yet. Okay, I'm gonna change. The first thing I'm gonna do is to change the name, to rename the name of the server. So I'm gonna click on this bit here, then click on change, then type any name for my server. I will just say server 2, then click on OK. It needs to be rebooted the system for the changes to take effect. Click on OK, click on close. It says restart now, but I don't want to restart now, so I'm gonna restart later. I want to do one or two more things before restarting it now. So by default, like I said, you cannot access the internet. So if you come into the local server here, if I move towards to the right, you can see IE enhanced security configuration is on. This stops you from going to the internet. I will demonstrate that to you now before I even do the changes. So I'm gonna open up Internet Explorer to go into the internet and you see what happens. It will come up with a message. So as you can see, Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configuration is enabled. So anything you try to do is not going to allow you to go on the internet. Let's say hotmail.com. So you see, I'm trying to go on hotmail.com. It is still refusing to allow me because of that stuff I showed you earlier. So I'm gonna close this here. I will still leave this page loading here in the background. Just go back to Server Manager. So I'm gonna click on the on button. I need to off. So I always off it for administrator, but for this demonstration I'll do it for both. Off here, off there. So if I save this here, it is still saying on because I need to refresh the page for you to see. If I click on refresh here, refresh local server, that should turn to off. So that means I can go onto the internet without that warning message coming up. I'll go back to my internet page, which is Internet Explorer. Then I will refresh this page by typing it again. So I'm going to refresh this page by typing the same thing again, hotmail.com. You see, it's not coming up with any of those warning messages. Okay, so now I'm going to use mail.yahoo.com to open up a different browser, different website rather. So you see it doesn't come up with that message. So that's how you disable that stuff. So now I've changed the name. It's due a reboot. Let me see if I can do something else before doing that. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is to create a static IP address. The bottom right computer screen, I'll right click it, open network and sharing center. I want to make sure I give it a static IP address. Change adapter. So if I open up the status here, you can see it has a DHCP server by default because of my router. So it's picked up an address straight away, but I don't want to put DHCP enable. So IPv4, I'm going to assign a static IP address. One sec, I'm gonna come back in a bit. I'm just gonna check. Okay, properties, give it a static IP address. One 192.168.1.0. Let's say 10. Tab key default subnet mask. Default gateway is 192.168.0.1. So I'm gonna give it a DNS address 192.168.0.1. Click on OK here. as you can see, yeah, this one here. Just gonna test the internet right now. Okay, the internet is still going because the default gateway is still correct, so I'm gonna close that. I'll reboot the system for the changes to take effect for the name. Then I'll come and start the installation of the Active Directory and create some users and give some permissions. So I'm gonna click on 2016, that's what I'm gonna log into. Okay, Control Alt Delete to log in again. Type in my password. Well, just click it and bring it up. Instead of waiting for the server manager start, then click on server manager. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is just to confirm to you the local server, the name has changed. If you can see server 2, the name has changed now. And the IE enhanced security configuration is also still off. So I'm going to click on manage. We're going to install the Active Directory, manage, add roles and features. So I'm going to click on next, role based or feature based installation. Click on next. It has selected the IP address assigned to my server and the server name displayed. Click on next. So the role I want to install is going to be Active Directory Domain Services. So if I tick that box here, add these features, click on next. This one is selected by default. Group policy management is used in Active Directory. So click on next. I like checking this box to help the computer to restart automatically without you having to restart it. So I'm clicking on install. So I've got the close button here. If I close this, it's not going to affect the installation. I'll just close it now. So if you want to go back to the progress to see what's going on in the background, you can always click on this flag here, so it will give you the notification and the process, so I can watch it from here. Okay, installation succeeded on server 2. So if I refresh this button here, click on the refresh button, as you can see now the sign has changed from 1, 2, and now it's got a yellow exclamation mark. So if I open that here, it's asking you to promote your server to a domain controller, basically to go through the process of installing an Active Directory so that you can create a domain like your name, like maybe hello.com. So I'm gonna press that now. So I'm creating a new forest. I don't have any domain I don't have any domain right now, so I'm doing it from scratch. So I'm gonna take my domain as hello.com. Hello.com. Then click on next. It's gonna pop up with the NetBIOS name in a bit. So this is the password for my login. Click on next. Just ignore all those messages. NetBIOS domain name is gonna be just hello. It's gonna remove the .com. Okay, click on next. Okay, install. Don't worry about all these yellow warning signs because it's just a newly installed server. You know, with regards to server, there are a lot of settings you have to do before you are fully ready to implement your server in network environment. So we have only just started some installation, so that's why you're seeing all these warnings, because it's telling you something is missing, something is doing this and that. Okay, I'm gonna close. I was gonna close the close button, but now the server is gonna be restarted, like I said earlier, automatically restarted. So it will be restarting in a bit. So now it's restarting now because I've clicked on that checkbox to say restart remote server. So it does it for you. Otherwise, I would have done it myself. So click on server 2016. Okay, that's the welcome message here. As you can see, the domain has been created. Hello / administrator. So if I log into my server here, okay, if I click on start here, click on start server manager. Okay, if I click on local server on the left hand side, you should be able to see the domain just in a few seconds. If you look down here where the mouse is, it says hello.com. So that's the domain created, the server name is still there. So to get access to the Active Directory, I need to click on tools. That's where you access all the services, and click on Active Directory users and computers. So if I maximize the Active Directory here, you can see on the left hand side, if I expand this domain here, make this a bit wider, so if I click on the domain, you see that's the domain there.com. So this is the Active Directory. I'm gonna close this here and close the server. So this is the end of this tutorial to show you how to install an Active Directory on a server. It could be 2019 server, 2016, 2012. You know, I'm using 2016 at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.